Alrighty guys, so what we are going to do here is I'm going to talk about the pre-shot routine. Now, I'm not just going to talk about your pre-shot routine with one club. I'm going to talk about how to do a pre-shot routine on the tee block, such as we are here. I'm going to then hit my second shot. So I'm going to do like an approach shot, pre-shot routine, what to look for when you're going to hit your approach shot. Ultimately, if I miss the green, I will do a pre-shot routine with a chip shot. Again, what do we look for when we're chipping? And then ultimately a putt. So what we're gonna do here is we are on a par 5. Now it's a reachable par 5. So what we're going to do is we need to get our tee shot in play. Now for this hole, we have trees left, bunker left, and believe it or not, we've got some water out there on the right-hand side. So what do we do on a tee shot like this? Now, first things first, we need to understand what is our typical miss pattern. So for me, when I hit the ball poorly, I get a little stuck underneath it and I let that ball hang out to the right. So with the water being out there on the right-hand side, I need to be careful because if I lose my golf ball or if I hit that golf ball in the hazard, I'm gonna drop a shot. Now, what I'm gonna do here is I'm going to grab my rangefinder because I wanna find out how far left can I go before I go into the trees. So as I stand here, I'm going to laser the left trees. So it's about 250 meters, about 275 yards before I reach the trees on the left. So theoretically, I can hit the ball pretty much if I aim down the center of this fairway, I can leak it just a little bit right or a little bit left and still be okay. So let's dive into what I would be looking for and what I would be thinking about when I'm behind the golf ball about to hit this tee shot, now that I have a lot more information about the hole that I'm playing. So let's get into the pre-shot routine itself. Now, I don't want to go left, trees are left. I don't really want to go too far right either. So what I'm actually going to do is play what I call my go-to shot. So my go-to shot is something that is teed down, and I'm going to try and hit a little sliding cut down there. Now, the reason why is I do not want to miss this ball left. As you can see, pretty firm here in Australia at the moment. So what I'm going to do is hit this little low slider kind of around the corner on this dog leg. So now that I'm behind the ball, I know what the hole is doing. I know the shot I want to play. So I'm just going to rehearse, staying on top of that golf ball and hitting that little slider down the middle of the fairway. So pretty much going to aim left center of the fairway, stay on top of this golf ball and hit that little slider. And that is absolutely perfect down the middle of the fairway. It's going to run for days, really firm conditions, but as you can see there, nice little low go-to shot for me. Nothing really going to go too far right and nothing going to go left. All right, so here's my tee shot. It's finished in literally the most perfect spot. And as you saw there wasn't much room left. I mean, I've got these trees here on the left. I had the water on the right. So I've hit an absolutely perfect tee shot. Now, I'm left with an approach shot. I've already range-finded my approach. So we're talking about pre-shot routine here, right? So part of my pre-shot routine would be to come in, laser the flag. I have a laser, you might have a GPS, etc. And what I have here is 232 meters. So let's call it 250 yards. And I cheat. It's actually uphill a little bit. So I've got slope on here. When I'm not in competition, I use the slope. So 232 playing 237. So it's uphill a little bit. Now, what I also want to check is my lie. That would be the first thing. Okay, so when I look at my lie, I mean, it's sitting in a very, very nicely mown, manicured fairway right here. So there's absolutely no dramas with the lie. So I can do whatever I want here. Now, I've got two choices. The environment, I have wind. Basically, I'm downwind right now. Downwind and off the right. So I could choose to do two things. I could grab my fairway wood and try and land this ball on the green. Okay, I fly my 3-wood maybe 230. Okay, so given the fact I've got 232 into this hole, I could essentially hit 3-wood and try and land it on the green. Now, we are playing in firm conditions here at the moment. It's very firm here in Australia. It's starting to heat up. So what I'm going to do is I've got my 3-iron. Now, my 3-iron carries about 210 meters. So if I get this to land 210, it will chase out a little bit more. And if not, I miss it short of the green, no problem at all. The one place I don't want to be on this hole, there is a bunker left of this green. So I don't really want to be there. Anything short right is literally this most simple chip you'll ever find. So if I want to miss this shot, it needs to be on the right-hand side. So I'm happy I've got my 3-iron, the wind's on the right, it's off the right, so I can actually aim a little bit more to the right-hand side. So I've got my distance, I've got the environment, so now let's go ahead and hit this golf shot. So my practice swings are going to be more of a draw feel. That's what I'm going to feel. Now, nothing really technical. If there's anything technical in my swing, I'm trying to load the golf club a little bit earlier. So I'm trying to hinge that club a little bit more as opposed to taking it away a bit too wide. But I really want to feel like I'm drawing the golf ball. So I don't know if you can see that, but there's a red flag in the distance. And what I'm going to do is aim at that red flag. This wind will help the ball push it to the left. And essentially now it's up to my golf swing. So I'm going to aim at that red flag, come on in, set my face first, check it. Stock sanded 3-iron. I'm going to try and aim it right at that red flag and get it to work to the left on the wind. Oh, I've absolutely murdered it. That is so good. Missed the bunker. Oh, all right, I'm in the bunker. It didn't fly the bunker, but that's exactly why I said I needed to hit it to the right. Now, give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna hit the 3-wood for you. Let's see the difference between where the 3-iron went versus where the 3-wood would have gone. All right, so I've got my 3-wood. You can maybe see the wind is starting to pick up a little bit. So I've got no dramas that this should be enough club. So same target, red flag. Try and keep it from going left in that bunker. So I've left that one out to the right just a little bit. But again, as I said, it's a perfect spot to miss there. That's where I wanted to miss my 3-iron, but I actually just got my 3-iron turning over a little bit more as opposed to this 3-wood, which basically started exactly where I wanted and just stayed there. So let's go up, let's have a look at those shots, and we'll come up with another strategy on how to work out our chip shot when it comes to our pre-shot routine and what to look for. All right, so sometimes we get lucky in golf. My 3-iron that you saw me hit has actually bounced out of the bunker, and it's left me with I wouldn't call it a tricky chip shot, but there's a ton of different ways we could play it. So we need to kind of identify that. So the first thing I'm going to do when I come up to a chip shot is identify the lie. Now I'm gonna get my camera to come in here because what I've actually got is, if we zone down or zoom down into the lie itself, it's the best lie that you could possibly imagine. You can see here that that golf ball is just sitting up perfectly on what looks to be a little bit of kikuyu grass. So this ball's not sitting down at all. It's in a really, really good spot. So basically, I can do whatever I want with this lie. So with that in mind, let's have a little bit of a walk, and we can see here that, you know, for this particular shot, I've got what we call half fairway and half green. So we can do a couple of different things. I could hit a 50-degree wedge or a pitching wedge, land it in here, get it to run onto the green, or I can use my 60, which is what I've got right here. Given the fact the lie's so good, I can get that club underneath it quite easily and try and feel like I land it somewhere on the green. So I'm gonna go and have a look at where I need to land the ball, and then what I'm gonna do is walk back to my golf ball and try and work out a way to get it there. So as I continue walking, I'm looking at my golf ball and I'm thinking to myself, where does this ball need to land? So I'm looking, and I reckon with the lie that I have, slightly downhill, I reckon if I land this ball somewhere in here, right where I'm standing, I think that's going to be a pretty good spot, and that ball's just going to trickle on down to the hole. Now, reading the green as well, I'm taking all of this in. The green runs a little bit from left to right, so I need to factor that in. I don't just want to chip it and aim it straight at the hole because it's going to finish too far to the right. So greens are pretty quick, so I'm going to try and land it roughly right about here. I should be able to get some fairly decent spin on that golf ball, so let's go and hit that shot. Pretty stock standard shot with my 60-degree wedge. Great lie, and I'm looking at the spot just to the left there. So I'm really zoned into my lie. What a magnificent lie I've got. You can see that I actually landed that a little bit short of what I wanted. I didn't hit it perfectly, but because I was able to identify that downslope, you actually saw that maybe I picked the wrong landing zone. Maybe that landing zone was only if I went a little bit higher. You saw there, that ball actually hit there. I didn't hit it very well, but man, 4 or 5 feet left for birdie is a pretty good attempt. So here's where my golf ball landed with my fairway wood. So you can see here that I missed it exactly where I thought I would. I missed it on the right-hand side. However, I made a little mistake that I've now short-sighted myself because the pin was essentially at the back of this green. And you can see here that this is a pretty difficult golf shot. So what I want to do now is obviously identify my lie. Now, that ball is in the rough, but what I'm going to do is come up here and I'm going to just identify in my head. I've got 2 options. Number 1, I could land it short and let it run. At the end of the day, I need to think, how am I going to stop this golf ball? Now, given the fact it's in the rough, the likelihood of getting some spin on this golf ball is probably out of the equation. So if I'm not going to stop the ball with spin, I need to stop it with height, with trajectory. Now, you can stop it via a low trajectory and let it run, or you could stop it via high trajectory and have it stop soft. So as I'm looking at those lies, to land the ball on the green and get it close to the hole, I'm going to have to land it roughly around here. Now, this is a very highly skilled shot that you need to pull off. So if you are not good in the short game and you don't think you can pull this off, we need the other alternative. I've got a 56-degree wedge. I've gone down 4 degrees. You could use a 50, or, you know, I wouldn't go too low, maybe a 50 at best. And all of a sudden I'm going to bring myself back and I'm going to look at that rough and I want to land my golf ball somewhere in here. And I want this ball landing on the grass, maybe 1 bounce, 2 bounce, 3 bounce, and then have it release to the hole. So I'm going to try both of those golf shots and see which one works out best. So let me go back to these. So let's just get my golf ball to sit in a bit of a random lie. Keep sitting up for me. Okay, that ball's sitting down a little bit. So I'm going to open the face pretty thick. So what I'm getting to now is I'm just trying to get a gauge of how thick that rough is. Now, it's a pretty tough shot to go high. Let's give this a go. Face open. See if I can land it just on the green. As you can see there, flew it way too far and I've actually missed the green. Okay, so that option is a very hard golf shot, like I said. So now I bring in my 56, give myself a random lie, and now I'm gonna choose to land this a lot closer to me. I'm gonna land this maybe about 3 or 4 paces before the green and get it to run up. So 56 degrees off my back foot. Oh, do it, do it. Oh my goodness. So there you see 2 different options. Now, technically, obviously there's a lot of difference, but being able to select the correct option allowed me to, number 1, I'm probably likely to make that putt as opposed to the one that missed the green. So the harder golf shot in this case was the high one. And again, you need a very high skill level in order to pull that off. A lot of you can do the lower one, 1, 2, 3, let it release, nearly hold it. So now let's dive into some putting. All right, so we are here. I'm going to pick the shot where I hit it with my 3-iron. That was my first ball, so we're gonna play that. So I've got a little 4.5, 5 footer. So the first thing I'm going to do, obviously mark my golf ball. I've got a line on my golf ball that I like to line up, so that's my routine. But the first thing I'm going to do is just take a look at the putt. Just take a general look, and given the fact that I knew from the chip shot that it was going to roll from left to right, I've now passed the hole. The likelihood is going to be right to left, back up the hill. So as I look at this putt, I'm looking at right center from behind the hole. And what I'm going to see from this angle, I'm actually going to just see, I think that's now right edge. So by going to a different location next to the hole, I got to see two different things. So from behind the ball, I saw right center. From behind the hole, I saw right edge. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to line the golf ball up. We're going to bring the camera back around to me here, and we're going to line this ball up at the right edge. So for those who use a line on the ball, what I've done straight away is I've lined my ball up. So I've crouched down, I've lined my ball up to what I think is correct. And before I take my marker away, a really important thing is to just come back and give yourself another look, because oftentimes we don't get it right the first time. So I'm going to actually change that ever so slightly and then pick up my marker and walk away. Now, all that's left is for me to put a nice stroke on the golf ball. So I like to come right next to the golf ball, take my setup and have a couple of practice swings. 1, 2, get over the golf ball feeling super confident. And for me, I'm not too fussed if I miss or if I make it. Oh, it didn't break. Alrighty guys, hope you all enjoyed that. We got some really good advice on tee shots, approach shots, chip shots. Obviously I need to work on my putting there, but if you want to see me play 3 holes at this very golf club, click the video that's on the screen right now. Watch me play 3 holes where I take you through some course strategy to help you shoot better scores.